I don't know what's been happening, but there have been constant technical difficulties on Instagram. I told you guys a while ago that I was potentially going to move Technique Tuesdays to another venue. And it's looking like that's what's going to have to happen because I keep getting technical issues that happened during the Palestine conference, and I don't have thousands and thousands of people on here like some other artists who make music about nothing and people who do nothing that just have people just come because they're famous. And there's a word that I'm going to teach all of you today called sycophants. Those are just people that come around when everything's hot. That's the downside to putting out a new record that I told Southpaw and a bunch of other people about. I'm going to get mad people that were like, oh man, I've been here with you the whole time. I knew you'd do it. And secretly, these were the same assholes that were going off to their friend, right? They go off to their friends and be like, oh, this is never coming out. Fuck that guy. Right. They'll all be back. And, I really do appreciate the fact that I'm going to get a lot of love for what we're doing because at the end of the day, we are being censored online. My video with R.A. the Rugged Man was ripped off YouTube, and then eventually they fought to put it back on. They said that we were spreading conspiracy theories about the election. And I was like, this has nothing to do with January 6th or anything else. The song was called Who Do We Trust? Because we don't trust Republicans. We think they're fraudulent, right? And just because we think they're fraudulent doesn't mean that we trust Democrats, And I hate when people do that, shadow bans by the left. Really? So you think the left wing is promoting all of those people in unions and those people fighting for a minimum wage increase? When are you going to realize there is no left here in this country that is a political electorate? Certainly not in the Democratic Party. Joe Biden is a center-right president of a center-right party. Joe Biden is not the liberal part of his party, right? Do you understand? He's not the liberal half of the Democratic Party. He's the right wing with Joe Manchin, for those people that actually understand American politics. So if he's the center-right of a center-right party, right? The fuck? He's not a communist, you moron. Someone wrote, and it's always a Latino dude, bro. You swear to God, writing things like white power, like those people love you. They don't, bro. You could pretend to be a blanquito as much as you want, bro. But they know who's white and who's not. And my whole life, I've spent telling people that I don't conform to fit in. People want to be what they want to be, I think a lot of Latino people are enamored with white country, with like white culture, or the absence of whatever European culture is, because they feel like it conquered their culture, so it has to be better somehow, or what we were doing as indigenous people was savage, right? Oh my God, it was so savage they ripped out someone's heart. Okay, they're burning people in the name of God up until like 80 years ago, you fucking moron. Why is that not savage, right? What's wrong with some of you people? So in a rush to defend your oppressor. Isn't it weird how the ancestral father of yours raped your ancestral mother? Yet you struggle so hard to be down with your pop's culture, even though they didn't want you. What's wrong with you? What's happening in Peru? What's happening in Peru is that you have an incredibly corrupt government there. And Fujimori is a dictator who now wants to be a legacy dictator by leaving one of his kids in charge. Totally backed by a narco-terrorist state, right? It's funny how many people are living off public assistance and they want to scream about the left. By the way, someone mentioned Venezuela in my tweet. And here's where the left and the right conspire. They admitted in the Congress that they caused the food shortage that ruined the Venezuelan economy. American Congress admitted that. So where are all the right-wing Latinos that are mad at them now? They're not there, right? In terms of the whole left in this country, the left is workers of the world unite, not let's get a bigger piece of slice of the American pie, right? Dude, anybody voting for Keiko or right-wing politics in Latin America is a fucking idiot. Either that or they're just super religious. You know, I know people that are really smart and they're just super religious people, and that's why they go along with these ridiculous policies. You have to understand something, that a lot of Latino people will vote, and indigenous people will vote totally against who they are and everything about them and everything that has to do with their people. You know, simply because of a religion that they were forced to accept. That's it. It's the same thing with black people, and you want a God honest truth? It's the same thing with white people. Jesus Christ, white people, look at America. The fuck has it done for you? Someone wrote, Alex, oh, this guy's a troll and he wants to be noticed. Alex is like, but you look white. I'm not though, dude. I'm in a lighted background because I live in a nice house. Meanwhile, you're surfing your mom's couch, desperately trying to be noticed. But if you want attention, everyone pay attention to that guy and give him some likes, because I guess, you know, you're overcompensating for being hung like a mouse by being on my live, trying to talk shit to someone who's way out of your league intellectually. You know nothing about politics. And I get it. We can all make jokes, papi. Podemos hacer toda la gente reír, pero eso no resuelve los problemas. And I'm a man of action, you coward, right? That's the difference between me and other people. That's why you can't be mad. I go anywhere, to anybody's live, to anybody's page, and I laugh when they try to come at me the sideways, right? I laugh when they try to come at me sideways. Oh, you're a liberal. That's why you hate Trump. No, it's because he's a scumbag. And when I hear conservative Latinos say things like, oh, yeah, Obama built the cages, you know what I think to myself? Wow, you are the fifth person accused of a gang rape, and your excuse is that you're not the first one in line? So you've given up the moral high ground. That's what you're doing? That's the Christian thing to do? Qué desgracia. Qué desgracia. Que Dios salve tu alma, porque lo has perdido. Has entregado tu alma a este país, desafortunadamente. Has entregado tu alma por nada. ¿Ok? No cobraste nada para tu alma. Lo regalaste. Can you believe that? You gifted your soul to these people. See, that's why we don't trust Democrats, brother, because the cages are still there. But that doesn't mean that Trump is a good person, you know? Your mom's a hoe, and another woman, you call another woman a hoe. That other woman being a hoe doesn't make your mom not a hoe. Do you understand that? Is that processing in your mind, my dude? Am I a spiritual person? Be careful. There's all kinds of spirits. Do I honor my ancestors? Is that what you're asking me? Yeah. Absolutely. Left wing, right wing, same bird. In America, yes, but theoretically, I think it's very different. Our people at a very different sense of what politics and business was, right? Like an indigenous person, they wouldn't understand the idea of a landlord. You know what I mean? Like they're fake Latino people, like this guy Azteca, whatever the fuck, just another right-wing clown, right? But you got to understand something. They wouldn't understand it, right? They'd say, well, why would I want to build a bunch of teepees or yurts for people to live in, right? And then charge them a percentage of everything that they're hunting. Why would I do that to them? They would look at me like I was stupid, like, or I was sick. They would say, why don't you just help that person hunt and they can build their own house? You know, imagine that. In Native American society, there was no such thing as building a bunch of teepees and then charging people half of their hunt to live in a fucking teepee, right? No. I think that these people are intellectual cowards. And I think when I run into like right-wing Latino people or the type of people who just say, oh, it's all the left and the right, they're both corrupt. No, that's the easy way out of getting intellectually sunned by someone who's way out of your league. Okay? if you want to impress me or anyone else in life with that small leadless pencil of an imagination that you have, what you need to do is understand how each side affects different people. You know, is the left right for some people? Yeah. The left isn't even the left for some people in this country. That's not left-wing politics. Do you understand that? Do you get that? I think what people also need to understand is that in Latin America, there's a different racial scale, right? Like, for example, there are a lot of white Latinos that are from Spain, and they never really mixed with indigenous people. So there's just straight up white people from Europe that live in Latin America. These are the people that are on all the ads for beauty products and everything. Those are the type of people that, you know, these pathetic, like, sellout Latinos, they worship that. They worship whiteness, and they worship white supremacy in a way that Americans, Black and Latino Americans, couldn't even imagine. It's way more racist than here in this country. It's just that you don't notice it. Oh, racism's not a big deal in Latin America. That's right, you fucking moron. People are worried about what they're going to eat. They don't got time to worry about someone calling them a monkey, but that doesn't mean that it's okay, you fucking moron. You small, tiny, insignificant fraction of a man. Don't you get that part? Don't you see that? Yeah, it's not like people have time to worry about that because they're busy trying to feed 6 kids while making 17 cents a fucking day. So pardon me, yeah, if they had the time to not work 3 jobs, yeah, they would be protesting that type of shit. What's wrong with you people? Who taught you? Who educated you? Who put you on to knowledge? Who made you think that you're smart? Certainly not a teacher, right? The school system failed all of you small indigenous people, right? You don't realize that up until 50 years ago, you could buy a Native American kid in this country for like $1. You fucking idiot. Don't you read that history? That's not true technique, because I must have heard somewhere else that, you know, Democrats invented racism and that the left steals your soul. And what? What the fuck? This is what we're dealing with? The Democratic Party is communist? What? Dude, you've traded in books for Facebook articles. And on the other hand, you know, the actual left, someone needs to have a conversation with the people there and say, well, look, whoa. Indigenous living and Marxism have been at odds several times during Latin American history, right? Because they don't believe in spiritualism. If you're atheist, it's not like you don't believe in God. It's that you don't believe in ancestral worship. You don't believe in spiritualism. And that's a gigantic part of our society. Right? These are things that you have to understand and learn. Someone asked me what part of my family is Black. My grandfather was Flavio Moreno. He was one of the first Afro-Peruvian agricultural engineers. Yeah. I think it's funny, because every time I see someone desperately trying to get my attention in the comments by talking shit, I realize that I've affected them and I've affected someone in their life. Someone in their life must really love me, and that makes you angry because they don't love you the same way that they love me, and I'm a stranger. I love it. Thank you. I live in your head rent-free, bitch. So yeah, I think that a lot of times people, they get these preconceived notions of what being a revolutionary is. Someone asked me about MS-13's history in Latin America. Well, I hate to break it to you, but, you know, these gangs existed as political organizations, a lot of them. Not MS-13. I think that is a result of the civil war that took place in El Salvador. One thing that you have to learn about El Salvador is the story of Archbishop Romero, right? This is a man who was very much for the people. And as corrupt as the Catholic Church is, he was a person that was, no, that's not true. MS-13 was not created in LA. It was incubated there and then had its foundation in El Salvador and then came here. Don't say things you don't know the answers to. Okay, you fucking 13-year-old Edgar, get the fuck off this page. right? Let me go back to this. Archbishop Romero, we're talking about the people of El Salvador. Stop making it seem like El Salvador is MS-13 and MS-13 is El Salvador. No, it's a gang inside a country of millions of people, you small-minded fool. Okay? Let's get back to the point. An archbishop of the Catholic Church was assassinated by the CIA and a right-wing dictatorship in El Salvador. So it wasn't the Democrats that did it, right? It was the Republicans who supported that and supported the assassination of an archbishop of the Catholic Church. It's so sad. It's so sad and pathetic that people can't deal with that fact. You're upset right now that that happened, that they murdered just a regular man of the church. It caused even more division and more violence, and it was absolute lunacy when that happened. He was actually beatified and then deified. Yeah, he's a saint now. Oh, they had to do that to cover it up. He was assassinated by people in his own government. It caused a civil war. And the United States, and you can look this up for yourself. I hate when people say, oh, prove my source. I'm not here to work for you, you ignorant coward. Go look it up on Google or YouTube, but don't go to some right-wing Facebook group and try to look up Latin American history. You're not going to get the truth. You're not going to get the truth from your super religious parents, right? Who think that the Palestinians are suffering because they went against God and Israel. No, Christian, Zionist, Latino, no, small-minded, insignificant flea. You're not going to get knowledge from those people, right? Some of you are still defending Kevin Spacey. Fuck out of here. It's so crazy. So, to continue, Archbishop Romero, right? The United States injects billions of dollars into the Civil War, right? And I say this for a reason. Central American politics are incredibly tricky, but they can be broken down to a very simple point, right? If there were two people, right, in a room together, we'll take two random people from this conversation, right? Someone that I agree with and someone that I don't agree with. We'll make it interesting. And I come into the room where these two people are debating, right? Like one of you block profile cowards. If you're not like a bot and you're actually a real person, imagine if the two of you and a follower of mine were in the same room, and I come in that room and I give my follower a gun and I say, yo man, I'm going to lock the door and I'm not responsible for what goes on here. How? In any court of law, if I gave them a gun and they shot you, I'm responsible for that, right? If I gave them the gun to kill you, I'm responsible for that. But the United States is not responsible for a civil war in El Salvador because it goes there and gives $2 billion, $3 billion to people and says, here's weapons so you can kill these indigenous children. The Contras was in Nicaragua. We're talking about El Salvador right now. You got to understand, man, this is not about being woke, all right? First of all, stay woke. That's owned by Snow the Product. You're lucky she doesn't come and cash a check from all you motherfuckers. That's a true story. She owns that. It's not about being woke. That's what people don't understand. That was co-opted by white liberals, wokeness. They cared about the kids when it was convenient for them, right? The white Republican Christians, they pretend to believe in God, but don't actually live the tenets of Christ. You want to talk about actually being woke? That would be actually walking in the steps of Jesus. Do you understand that? Like people ask me, am I religious? No, I was raised as a Christian. Obviously, I'm not in that sense now, but I truly believe this. I do believe if people really did live their lives by the teachings of Jesus Christ, that would actually be you being woke, being giving, being loving, saying, oh, dude, I'm going to fucking give you this or take care of that, right? It would be a society where we paid it forward, all of us. But instead, you want to co-opt Jesus and make sure that he thinks your stupid, tiny, small-minded, white supremacist shit that was handed down to you by a colonizer is the right way to think. When Jesus was on the cross, they said, the other people that were there said that he was calling out for the prophet Elijah. The prophet Elijah was potentially an ancestor of Christ. So you're telling me now that it's devilish that indigenous people worship their ancestors or speak to them, but that when Jesus was up there talking to the prophet Elijah, that he was guilty of what? You don't know the Bible. I read that book way more than you. Shut up. And I'm disgusted when Latino people are mad at Muslims, and they get mad and they say, oh, that's just a terror. What? What? Those people conquered the conquistadors. They fucked up the people that fucked you up. Why don't you learn something about them? Learn something about them. Good fucking God, yo. I gotta kick your ass today? I gotta fuck y'all up today like this? Islam is a religion of war. So is Christianity. You can make that argument perfectly well. Christianity was not brought to indigenous people, but anything by the sword. Rape and murder, forcible conversions. What do you think? Everybody lined up to get bread in their mouth, you fucking idiot? What's wrong with you? Get out of my class. Get the fuck out of my class. Go back to remedial history. Go back to 5th grade history. Go read The Little Prince, you dumb fuck. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Jesus Christ. I'm sorry. All right, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm not going to belittle a student. I love you guys, man, but when people act that way, y'all get on my bad side. Y'all make me flip out and shit. All right, please. I'm sorry about that, though. I love you guys, man. I'm not going to be here on too much longer. I just wanted to express to you that even if you look at Europe's history, you will find forcible conversions, right? Again, half the Crusades. I'm going to say this again so the people who are talking about Palestine, Israel, that are talking about the Middle East, that are talking about indigenous history, talking about Christianity, half the Crusades were not against Muslims. I'm going to say that again. Half the Crusades were not against Muslims. They were against other sects of Christians that were in Europe, right? The Cathar Crusade wiped out a group of people called the Cathars in France. That's where the phrase, kill them all and let God sort them out, right? The French invaded, and the Italians and the Spanish, they invaded that part of France. And they said, wait a minute, we're going to kill these people that are Cathars. And the guy said, well, there are Catholics mixed in with the Cathars. And one of the commanders said, well, just kill them all and God will sort them out. Yeah. The Fourth Crusade, they attacked Constantinople. You understand that even in Europe, Christianity was brought by the sword, by the Teutonic Knights during the Baltic Crusades. What's wrong with you? Who taught you people? Man, y'all be hurting my heart when y'all say dumb shit. Every time this guy, Fake Aztec, says something stupid, somewhere a fairy dies, right? Somewhere one of the law, they lose their wings. Every time you open your mouth and say something stupid, a star explodes in the sky. Every time you open your mouth to say something dumb, a year is deleted off your life, like that machine from The Princess Bride. I don't get it. I don't understand. I don't know in what dimension you thought you were learning things. I love you guys. I want to be able to grow with you more. I just know that I've been having so many difficulties on this app. It was sad. Someone on here, some right-wing hack, accused me of being a Holocaust denier. My fans immediately supporting Palestine. Just for supporting Palestine. They want to brand me as all these things. I was like, what are you talking about, denying the Holocaust? And then people sent them links to my music and was like, here's every single time he's talked about the Holocaust. And they were like, oh, okay, fine. That's what it is. He's guilty of something else. Wow. And imagine if I hadn't said anything. And imagine if my fans hadn't come to my defense. Even some of you right-wing sellout Latinos and liberal hacks, you'd be repeating that lie. Just like you repeat the lie about there being nobody in Palestine before Israelis showed up. That's a lie. Just like you repeat the lie about there being no Native American culture before Europeans showed up. That's a lie. I'm sorry, brother. I'm not even angry at ignorance anymore. You were honestly taught by real devilish people that wanted to keep you ignorant, to keep you fighting against other working class people, whether it's black, white, brown. One thing I will tell you, when you go to jail, right, you might all be divided by race, but you're all united by class. Right? I say that all the time. And when I used to teach in a prison, the smartest kid in the class would raise his hand and said, what do you mean, Mr. Cornell? Well, what if you find a millionaire in jail? And I used to tell the little kids, then he's the guiltiest person in here, because he had a $2 million lawyer and he still couldn't get him off. And you ask the average person that's been locked up, if any of you are from the street, ask your friend or your OG or anybody from your block that ever went to jail, yo, did you have a $2 million lawyer? And when he says, what? No, hell no. Do you think you would have done better and got less time with a $2 million lawyer? Yes. That's what freedom costs. Yeah, that's what freedom costs, motherfucker. Right? I love you guys. Oh, man, I did 12 years because I couldn't afford a lawyer. Jesus, slot one to the servant. God bless you, man. I'm so sorry about that. Public pretender, more like it, right? Not a public defender, a public pretender. So sad, man. Anyway, I appreciate the love and even the ignorance from some people, the ones that were in here, you know, begging for a response and just saying like childish stuff in here. You helped me. Like the potholes in the ground were filled by your corpses, and I was able to drive my car to the place I wanted to go so much easier because of you. I love that about my fans, that even the morons help me get to the people that actually think and want to hear good stuff. Yeah, tell me where you're from, and I'm gonna give you a shout out, and I'm gonna show some love to everybody. Shout out to Canada. I was in the boarding school system in Canada last generation. Oh man, truth digger, my love to you, brother. God bless you. I'm glad you got out of that system, man. That's a terrible system. That is like modern day slavery for those people that want to learn Indian boarding school systems in America. Learn about them. Terrible. Middle Passage, African drum humming, it's coming, destroying your life. Amp Music, South Africa, I love you. New Mexico, UK, Pakistan, Wilmington, California. Egypt in the building. Los Angeles, Oxnard, Persia. Shout out to Scotland. Eastlos, Chichimeca, Compton, South Africa, Hesperia, Morocco, Pakistan, Detroit, Romania, we love you, Florida in the building, Long Island, shout out to Long Island, Washington Heights, the Heights, Lompoc, California, Norway, love you guys, Kenya, woo! Long Beach, Vancouver, Immortal Technique, Harlem. Love y'all. Peace. I'm out of here.